Oh, I want to share with you one study, and now for study, according to ancient Indian, also the tradition, the intelligence, right? Intelligence is the first level, knowledge through learning, through books, through lectures, others through words. That's one level of knowledge. That is not very stable. You learn something and you have the certain concept purely on the basis of other sort of imitation. Then if another person say, no, that's wrong, then your view immediately change or doubt. So, the first level of knowledge is very unstable. However, it is acts as a basis. And then further contemplation, analyze by yourself what you learned from other or from books. Then analyze by yourself. Make sure certain point which mentioned by other or book, analyze, further examination. Then you develop second level of knowledge through your own analysis. So that knowledge now much more stronger. Another person say this is wrong, then you will respond, no, I thoroughly investigate, I thoroughly study, this is true. So that kind of conviction. Then third level of sort of knowledge is now not remain on intellectual level understanding, but familiarize. Through familiarization, eventually, you see, you gain some experience. Now, knowledge through experience, now that's really solid. So, that I want to share about knowledge is concerned. Then, the calm mind. Here, I feel, you see, two methods. One method, whenever we look certain thing, we must look more holistic way. That means you can't see the whole picture through one dimension. We must look from different angles or 6 dimensions, like that. Then you get the clearer picture about the reality. And then also our sort of, the mental level ups and downs usually happen when we see some positive things or negative thing. Negative things, see negative thing almost absolute, then too much ups and downs. And positive thing, and also almost like absolute, again you see the much disturbances. So the reality, it is impossible. Just one single event full of positive or full of negative. No. Any event, relative. So compare certain other factor. Compare this positive. Compare this negative. Everything like that. So more holistic view, then you see you can see the different aspect of the reality, that our mind becoming more balanced. This is one thing. And then another thing is warm-heartedness. Usually, warm-heartedness, of course, or compassion, as I mentioned earlier, all major religious tradition carry same message. But essentially, The affection is a biological factor, not come through religious faith. Look, animals, those animals or those mammals or even birds, you see, those youngsters' survival entirely depend on mother's care. This affection come as a biological factor. From mother's side, tremendous sort of affection. So that affection bring energy, take care, even the willingness of sacrifice her own life for the sake of youngster. So there is sort of, unless so that kind of the strong emotion, the energy will not come. So that emotion come from biological factor. It is necessary. And child side or youngster side also, as soon as born, without reason, without sort of knowledge, who is that person? But biologically, so entirely depend on that person. So long that person carry cuddly, at the physical touch, the child feel happy, safe. As soon as separate, feel unhappy. So these are biological factor. So affection come from biological factor that take as a seed. Then with human intelligence, with help of human intelligence, that biological factors of affection then can enrich, strengthening. So now here differences. The first level of affection, compassion, is biased and something like action-oriented or oriented towards others' attitude. So biased. It cannot extend to so-called our enemy, whose attitude towards you is negative, harming on you. On that level, since that biased biological sort of affection is action-oriented, so the action which negative towards you, you cannot extend your feeling of love and compassion towards that. Then through training, through help of human intelligence, analyze pros and cons of it. Pros and cons about affection, about hatred, about jealousy. Then you develop some kind of conviction, warm-heartedness, altruistic attitude is immense benefit to myself, to the family, to the community, and even my health. Through analysis, and with help of human intelligence, we can promote that biased, limited compassion, uplift unbiased, not action-oriented, but oriented to the being itself, or human case, human being themselves. Because now your enemy, as far as action is concerned, their attitude is concerned, negative towards you. But still, these are human beings, human brothers, sisters, essentially. So part of our community, community which my future depend. So these even enemy, people who have some negative attitude towards you, these also part of the community which your future depend on them. So with understanding these things, then keep genuine compassion, genuine sense of concern, of well-being, even your enemy, regardless what their attitude. That is unbiased, genuine compassion. All major religious tradition, you see, teach us that. But without touching religion, using common sense, common experience, and then latest scientific finding, we can develop conviction, these kind of altruistic attitude, infinite altruistic attitude towards other. We can develop that. Some non-believer, the willingness to sacrifice their own life for sake of others. So these are some non-believer, not come through religious faith, but through common sense, like that. So that I think we can promote that through education, not through religious teaching, but through awareness, through education. So in modern education, the education system which is using in this country, essentially British introduced. So in the West, when separate education institutions started, then moral ethics side, church take responsibility, and also family values some extent. But now in modern time, the influence from the church reduce, family value also reduce. Then the separate education institution, which originally taking care only brain development, moral ethics side, church and others is taking care. But now later the others influence reduce, so the education institution alone have the responsibility of both, taking care of brain development and taking care of warm-heartedness.